Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Alchemy Trades. This is host Logic. So, a couple people have asked me to kind of go over how to find certain pairs and then kind of how to identify how to get into a trade with a certain couple of pairs. So, we'll start with a couple of my favorites. Let's do Pancake Swap. This, I believe, I already have set up for the most part, and then I'll set up some blank screens as well, too. But pretty much, it's just as simple. Here's your basic floor. This has been its lowermost level that it's been at some time. You'll see a good dip below the oversold regions of the RSI. Same thing with MACD. And then you kind of get into where it hits the ceiling. Now, of course, this is like the perfect setup right here. It's recently hit the ceiling, went right down hard onto the floor, bounced right back around, came right back up to the ceiling. That was a perfect in and out. Usually it works more like this. It'll kind of swing down a little bit, go back about halfway in between your zones here, and then slowly go back up again. And you'll kind of know when it's time to get out of it because you'll see it start to curve down a little bit and then pull back. And then, of course, you can hit every one of these pullbacks right here because this is on a 1 hour time frame, so this is literally days of trading. You can get into it over and over again. You just got to be careful because it'll pull back, and it could potentially pull back all the way down here to the floor again. But as you can see with just doing a basic trend line here, or even making this a channel, how it's pretty much holding this area pretty decently. So you just want to kind of look at, are there any potential breakouts? Is it going to break out of this channel? Is it going to ride this channel again? You see it kind of had a good channel structure, peaked out, rolled back over, and then now it's pulling back up again. But as we look at how it hits this VWAP, it's kind of riding it though. So we want to see it not only break through this VWAP and then continue up on a good strong momentum up, but then we also want to see it actually break some of this structure here to know which direction it's going to go. Now, if you're going to long-term trade this and you're happy with this, starting out here in the middle and then riding it up on a good channel, this is a good way to get into it and have a good long run up, and we know this is this previous ceiling. Now, how do I identify these areas? Well, I'm going to go into one of my other favorite kind of alt trades. This is a very blank chart. We're going to add some basic indicators again. MACD, RSI, and then VWAP. I like to use these mainly because these are what everybody knows. This is what you see anywhere you go. This is what people kind of always show you. There's of course 1,000 different indicators, and it's perfectly fine. But you want to find what works good for you, and that's why I kind of use these because, well, they're tried, they're true, they're really, really good, starting points, and they're common, there's, the TTD squeeze, which is one of my personal favorites. There's multi-time frame chart analysis that you can use, where you have everything up on one screen at one time. So those are good things to have as well, too, but just for basic, getting into the bot and getting it trading, this is a good way to go. So what we kind of identify is, do we like this area and what do we like about this area? So we'll add a line right where it's at now. We'll look at its previous high, which has been right in this region here. This is its most recent. It's hit it and rode this quite a couple times, so it could go beyond this, but this is its last previous major high. And then what I like to do is kind of find out, okay, well, what do I think my best case scenario is? And we'll see these supports here that look really good. Hit this several times. It breaks through it, but then pulls back up again to it again. But it respects this pretty well. So I'm going to make this kind of a little bit smaller. I'm going to make it yellow and dotted. I do this because I kind of say, okay, well, if this starts to turn around and go back up again, this is where I think it's probably going to go to, And what I look to identify is we're going to hit this we're on a 4 hour time frame just to see the big picture here. We're going to drop down to the hourly time frame now. Open it up a little bit and see, okay, it's hit this pretty hard, come back up, hit it hard again, came back up, hit it hard again, now it's riding it. So there's a pretty good chance it's going to kind of get into this. I also like the fact that from here, this was really oversold at one point in time. Now it's riding it again, but it's kind of like not as resistant. So we kind of see it's straight here, but kind of going up a little bit here in the RSI. So these are pretty good trends. When you see something on the RSI, it's not as oversold as it was here, it's a good chance for this thing to start pulling around, you know. We're also seeing some good reversal signs. You know, I love the dark red to green or the dark red to light red. I like those changes to get into a trade. So this is kind of like, well, what could happen here? Well, a lot of it really depends on the market. You know, what has happened recently in the last 24 hours? We've seen a little bit of a pullback. In the last 7 days, we've seen a lot of pullback, but we really haven't come out of it yet. So that kind of leads me to believe that there's a chance that we might see some small minor runs. Nothing crazy, I don't think. I think we're going to be bouncing back and forth a little bit, but I think we're due for a couple of good pushes here. And it just likes this area pretty much. So what I kind of look for is this a safe trade to get into? Do I think I'm going to get into this? I could run it for several days until I hit my target, which would be, you know, 2 to 3% I'm happy with. 5, 6% is even better, of course, especially if I run something for, you know, several days. But I'm looking for, you know, some volume, which we've had a lot of volume here recently. But the volume hasn't really spoken much. I mean, we had a good pump up here, and that's kind of what we're hoping for. You know, maybe we'll get a good pump up, and we'll be able to capture this, because it has pulled away from VWAP quite a bit. As you can see from here, it's pulled down away from VWAP, you know, almost 4% previously. Doesn't always do that, but its most biggest pull away from VWAP has been there. And it has pulled away from VWAP a little bit. Not as much as it was last time, right at 2%, but that's why I'm saying I think there's a good possibility for us to see a 2%, you know, pullback up into the green area and probably not do too bad. So then I'm going to jump into the 15-minute chart so I can kind of get my entries a little bit better now. And the first thing I like to do is to identify a stop loss. And I usually make this red because, of course, it's a stop loss. And then I'm going to give myself a little bit of breathing room in case it does decide to pull back of probably around 4%. The reason why I say that is because there's really no previous place that it's gone down to that I can see, even going into the 4-hour chart. There's really nothing crazy in the past that's shown me is this any kind of level that it's going to respect. I mean, just months and months and months, it's just never really been this low before. So that's good, because when you're getting to something that's really not been this low in a very long time, there's a good chance if you hold it long and give it some room to breathe, you got a good opportunity to get into it, so and do something decent with it. So we are going to go ahead and blow this up a little bit and obtain our levels, which we're looking at probably around 0.01076 is what we're kind of looking for. So we're going to set up a bot live here as well too, just to kind of see what's going on here. Let's see, I think I have this one up. It is. Okay. Do I have any Matic I have available? I don't know if I did that. Nope, I don't. So we're going to go to Excalibur quickly. And we're going to convert some USDC to some Matic. Probably time for me to go and convert a lot of this Matic anyhow, because it's been pretty low lately. What is Matic's price? Let's look at it real quickly. Matic. It's hovering at $1.22 right now. So nothing crazy, nothing horrible, but, you know, we can live with that. Okay. So we'll go ahead and swap it. Get some Matic. Alright, now that's done. We'll go back to the grid. And again, Nitro is our base trading pair and Matic. Come on now. I know it's in there. There we go. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do 280. And again, we'll find that lower range again. I'm going to drop it down a little bit because I want to make sure I'm in whatever range it's in. So 0.01072. So 0.01072. I can live with that. We want to always make sure that this agrees here too. You know, 0.01072, we're at 0.0108. So that's fine. We want to have a little bit of room for it to trade below if we need to as well too. And then its upper level that we've seen here. Let's try this level first, 0.01264. See what grids this gives us, 0.01264. And we'll find grids, see what it comes up with. We're going to double check 0.01262. That's close enough. Alright, so it gives us quite a few grids, so we're going to try 14 grids. And then we're going to enter our stop loss. That's the very critical point here. And that's 0.01032. 0.0103. I'm actually going to do 0 to give a little bit more room to breathe. Check the profit and see kind of what's happening right now. Matic's doing really good with this little app here. It shows us that it's about 67. So we're doing 10 cents per grid. I like that. We'll go ahead and run with it. Get it started. Now, you're never going to get the perfect entry. You'd love to. I'd always want to. I'd hope to get that perfect grid. We're going to wait for this to do a waiting confirmation and then transaction completed, get into the chart before I pull off of the page. It's been an issue that I've had here and there on using the VPS. This, of course, is the VPS version of this. I run all my bots off of a VPS. I just want to make sure that this is going to get in here and start running, so I'm happy with that. I mean, granted, I'd have loved to get in here when this was right down here. You know, this is already pumped up quite a bit, probably a little bit over 0.5%. So I'd have loved to get into it right before this swing up, but, you know, I'm going to probably stay in this for a couple days, honestly. I'm looking to at least capture to this level here. That's my goal, is to get from here to probably in this area, which is 6%, if it could come up to this next level support, 3%. So I'm looking between 3 and 6%. That's where I'm technically looking to give it to. Granted, I just like to kind of show you, here's how I obtain my overall floor, ceiling, and then what's that next midpoint up. And of course, this is probably where that 6% is going to hit at. Because if it's had some resistance, this is going to cause some resistance right here in this area. You're just going to see that. So just be aware of that. This will probably be a good point of resistance right in this area here. And we'll make this yellow again. So that's probably going to be a little bit of resistance. This is its next major level of resistance. And then, of course, these peaks right here. But I honestly suspect it'll probably get up into this area here. If this happens in a day, great. If it happens before I go to bed, I'll close it. Again, my goals are 3 to 6% on this and see what happens. So that's pretty much what I look to do, guys. I hope this helped. I'm trying to keep these videos short for you guys and try to keep them as informative as possible. You know, I kind of like to keep on some very specific trades. You know, I love trading Pancake Swap. It's a very popular with me. Trust Wallet is another very popular token I like to trade, just because if there's ever any like major fears of crypto or exchange talks and stuff like that. This usually reacts really well with the overall market. So if the overall crypto market's going down, this is going to go down. And if the crypto market is going up, this is going to go up. So it's very predictable. It likes to stay pretty well within these ranges. And you kind of know what's going on with it. Same thing with just, you know, your typical AVAX. This is a good trade to get on the AVAX chain. Something that's pretty easy to deal with. Another one of my big favorites is Nitro. And then, of course, you know, Matic. You know, the stable pairs are some of the safer ones to get into. I'd recommend new people trade those before anything else. Just because, honestly, that's what just works. You know, you could get into a trade, stay within a certain range, and then you know you're going to be safe. You're not going to have any major issues. You're not going to have any major problems. And you know you're going to you could run these things for days and days and days and know that you're probably safe unless there's a major dump. And even in the last major dump, it never dropped below $1.19. Matic has been doing really well. So those of us have gotten into it when it was back to that 85, 90 cents. And then we held on to it until it went into this, you know, $1.50 range. That's why I converted a lot of it out to USDC a while ago. And I'm just waiting for it to drop, you know, this steady drop that it's had. It's had a pretty good run. It's pulled back up a little bit into these levels here. This is where we're hoping it to get to, right where these areas of potential resistance are going to be at for the next time. And then pull back down again. But I'd say anytime it hits this little area right here, and then this area as a potential really oversold area, that's when I think we've got a good chance to get back into a good trade with Matic and keep it going for just weeks and weeks and weeks. So thank you guys. This is Host Logic. Thank you for listening to me for a little bit, and I hope this helps.